Did you know you can take specialized courses in esports and other great courses in the sport industry? Well, today I'm having a talk with one of the key directors at the 360, a Brazilian sport business school doing specialized courses in the sport industry. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what they're doing in the esport industry, what kind of options and opportunities you have there. So stay tuned right after this. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the SportIn Global podcast. And today I'm here with Lucas from the 360 in Brazil. Lucas, how are you? How's the warm weather in Brazil? I mean, I know you're in a hotter spot these days, so I guess you can't complain.
Hi, Ole. First of all, thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here talking to you and to everyone who's listening. And yes, it's really hot. I'm in Fortaleza. For those who doesn't know, it's northeast of Brazil. It's always summer here during the whole year. So it's good. It's good to be here in this warm place with beautiful beaches and all this stuff. So I'm working a lot, but also enjoying some parts.
Well, that's good. You gotta have some balance in life. You know, making sure that you're making the most out of your life, working and having some fun and I guess for you enjoying the warm weather and beaches.
For sure. Yeah, we have to stress out a little bit so we can get the energy to come back to work and do what we love.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here, of course, and for those of you that are tuning in, we're as always, interviewing key leaders in the sport industry every week. So just make sure to like the video if you want to see more like this. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. And Lucas, I mean, I think we just have to start with you just telling us a little bit about how your journey in the sport industry began. Take us a little bit back to where it all started.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna really go back in time because maybe it gets some similarities with some people who are listening. Because I always been a passionate for sports, and since as a kid, since I had some memories, I remember watching World Cup, Olympics, and everything. I always really passionate and growing as passionate as always, and making some sports either especially here football, tennis, and a little bit taekwondo also, and but when I was growing up at university studying, the sports industry here was always very close for regular people. You had to had really good contact, really good networking to get some opportunities to get in the industries. And we're talking early 2000 at that time. And so I kind of gave up the dream of working with sports, because it looked like impossible mission, to get in.
Mission
so I graduated here. You can get credit in advertising, and I studied in US for a while. I studied marketing there. Get some internships over in advertising. And then I come back. I started working in the pharmaceutical industry. Also, I have done my own business, but it was a natural product store, healthy food and all these things. Oh. So nothing related to sports. Until then. But then when I having my own business there, it was really stressful time, and there's some local crisis here, difficult time in economic way.
Sure.
So I passed my store, and then came the question, what am I gonna do? I had a little bit free time, to get some energy back, to think about what I would do. And then I said, okay, I always loved sports. The industry is growing. we were having the World Cup here. The football clubs were professionalizing at the time, getting people who were really professionals. Not too much, but it was a start.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I'm gonna try it.
Right.
I'm gonna have a chance.
Yeah.
Give a chance. So I did a course in the 360, which is the company I'm a partner now.
Right.
And it was a football management course. So now I always love football, and I said, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna give a try, maybe get some opportunity. And then I did the course, and the school always had some projects since at that time.
Right.
It was 2014. The 360 was was created at 2013, so it was only 1 year old at that time.
Yeah.
And with these projects, I was always in contact with the people here, which were basically Rodrigo and Murilo, who are my partners here.
Right.
Now. And once they were in need of someone to work with in the commercial area. And then I said, oh, I can do it. Okay, so like I'm looking for an opportunity, so it fits. And then they invited me, and then I started working in the commercial area. And then as I were working, it's a small, we were really a small company at the time, growing. And then I could do more things than the commercial area in the organizing events, and well, helping in everything was necessary.
Yeah.
And then I become a partner, and then start organizing some courses, and the work was developing special projects. Well, and the good thing was we are always in touch with the sports professional in the sports industries. Not only football, but all the sports, basically. Even basketball had some things, and we say like the American leagues, like football, basketball, baseball.
Right.
We already did some works in that.
Nice.
And the esports, we're gonna talk a little bit more. It's
of course.
It's a more recent, of course. Yeah. It's but it has a lot of opportunities. It's really nice, and for us, it's every day we're learning about it even more.
Yeah.
It's a really nice environment. It's a very good market, and here in Brazil, it's developing a lot.
Right.
Also, as in a lot of parts in the world.
But it's a really fascinating story, I think. It's just like, you know, I think a lot of people that are listening to this, and a lot of people that, you know, are facing kind of like the struggle of getting into the sport industry, we're sort of like, oh, I don't have, you know, the frameworks in order to actually, you know, succeed. So you're kind of like, you know, doing maybe like some other stuff, and then you kind of like realize, well, what is the best way to essentially enter, right? Well, it's through courses, like programs, right? That's kind of like have that network, have that kind of like a lot of the structure. But at the same time, you know, that opportunity doesn't come unless you take that initiative, you know, and then you're sort of like showing, okay, I want to be part of this and I want to help out. And as you said, now you're, you know, one of the partners, one of the key directors at the 360. And I guess like kind of like, if you want to explain in a very, you know, I guess simple way of like what exactly, you know, is the 360? Like, what are you guys offering, and what are some of your key responsibilities, you know, in your role right now?
Sure, Oli. Well, so as I said a little bit before, we are a school that offers courses in the sports industries. We have like management courses, we have like technical area courses as well. Like in football, we have, I want to be a scout football. We have a course, for example, tactical courses. And of course, we have esports courses and others, even in communication and
Mm-hmm.
other areas which are related to
Yep.
sports as well.
Right.
And well, that's our main service, the main thing we do. It's
Sure.
the courses because it's from where we born and from what we are well known for the
Mm-hmm.
people and for the industry.
Yep.
So it will be always the main part of us. But we also have some special projects like we have a conferences, we have partnerships with clubs.
Mm-hmm.
We have uh, projects to spread out what we do because
Mm-hmm.
we can't be only courses, we have to
Right.
offer more. So
Yep.
even the students get the benefit of it. As you
Right.
said, and I'm going to repeat it because we repeat this all the time. There are two things for people to get in these markets, and then what they have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's to know how the market works, like
Right.
how the clubs are, or the athletes, what they need,
Yep.
what the sports industry needs,
Sure.
so and how it works. So that's why the courses, that's what the content we pass to our students is.
Right.
and and the networking, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
like networking, it's crucial. It's crucial
Right.
for someone who wants to get in, because basically someone will appoint you. Someone will say, okay, I'm gonna bring Ole to our company because I know him, because I know he'll be a good professional, and we need him. And
Right.
basically that's how it works in this sports industry.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really necessary. And as we bring into the courses the professionals from clubs, from federations, people who are working with, it's the starting point for the students to connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course it's not easy to get this
Right.
network. It's people need to know who you are,
Right.
first of all. And if you are a student, you have something to show, because everyone started from some parts, for
Right.
some lining up part. So uh, the professional say, okay, you're studying, he will know or she will know where you are now and maybe where you want to be in the future. But
Mm-hmm.
even as a student, it's easier to get this networking, because
Right.
people will know you are start to improving, start to get some knowledge of the industry, of the details, and then you will do your first steps.
Right.
So
And as you were
yeah,
saying,
but
kind of like, just building that, foundation of people around you, to succeed, and not
exactly.
only just the content, but the network as well. It's a vital piece, but as we were saying to you, like, kind of like, in the beginning as well, is that even if you kind of like, surround yourself in that, you still have to kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, put yourself out there and reach out to these people, and you have to sort of
Sure.
like take the initiative and say like, hey Lucas, hey, I want to like talk with somebody at this organization, can you help me, like,
Yes.
take the initiative to ask and be proactive, because if not, people are not going to expect you to do that.
Sure. Yeah, that's one thing we always say. Also, because the opportunities are there, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of opportunities,
Right.
but you had to go through there. It's not the other way. They will
Yeah.
not go to you, because there are a lot of people also looking for them.
For sure.
So you had to have this initiative. You had to be proactive. You had to contact people. You had to go to wherever you want to work
Right.
with. And because it's always good to learn also, even for internships. Like we have in most of our courses, we offer as well internships with some partners, even clubs or
Right.
companies or whatever.
Sure.
It's necessary, so people get some experience.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, I have some practical experience. I'm not
Yeah.
like so much as a beginner
Right.
as before,
Yeah.
and you got more prepared for the opportunities. But we always say you have to go after them. You
Mm-hmm.
have to do your best to get them.
For sure.
Uh, that's really necessary because, as I said, a lot of people are looking for these opportunities either. So there is a competition for it,
Yeah.
and
Massive.
you have to be aware. And but it's totally necessary. And one thing we say, like, because most of the time
Mm-hmm.
people want to work in what they see. For example, okay, I'm a sports fan and I'm a Team Liquid fan,
Right.
the sport team. So I want to work with Team Liquid. Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
You can wonder, you can dream of working with them, but there are some opportunities in other teams. That there's some opportunities in the surrounding area of
Right.
esports either, like some companies who make services for Team Liquid. So you can work close to them, but not necessarily within them. You
Right.
can,
And at
you
some, I
can.
mean, like at some point, you can always, maybe get that opportunity to work for them, but understanding that, there's many ways to be involved with like an esport team or like, doing what
Exactly.
you love without necessarily having to, work for that specific club, of course, because a lot of people want to work for that club. So there's high competition, very few maybe opportunities directly in that club or organization too. So a great way is to like, well, then look for another team, another organization that
Mm-hmm.
are looking for people, maybe a lower
Yeah.
range team that are growing, and we talk a lot about
Yes.
like looking at the opportunities in the markets that are excelling, and obviously the esports industry is excelling, so there's more teams,
Mm-hmm.
they're becoming more
Yes.
professionalized, and more opportunities comes out of that too. And of course, like we're going to go a little bit into that very very shortly as well, but I wanted to touch a little bit upon like some of the special projects you guys been working on in the
Mm-hmm.
360, such as the Roland Garros E-Series, the Corinthians Master Talks, and the last one, I honestly don't know how to pronounce that, so you got to help me a little bit.
It's a preleção because yeah, we
Preleção.
have like this word is really Portuguese
Yeah,
word.
I was like,
Uh,
I gotta try to make that right, but that one is a little bit tricky. That one is a
yeah,
little bit tricky.
I know it's a hard word to
Yeah.
pronounce for some people, but well, that's one. It's preleção. It's like the talk the coach have with the players
Mm.
before a match.
Ah,
So
got it. Yeah.
you train it. You already train it. You already did everything,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
have that uh, final conversation,
Mm-hmm.
like to say, okay, let's go. Let's remember some of the tactics. Let's
Right.
remember some of the things we work it,
Awesome.
and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the final talk before a match, before a
Yeah.
competition or whatever. So that's
Well, you
what's
learn something new every
preleção.
day, right?
Yes.
But
Exactly.
let's dive a little bit into the Roland Garros E series. Obviously, kind of
Okay.
like we're focusing a little bit in the esport in this talk, and tell us a little bit about like what was that special project all about, and how did it sort of like come together?
Okay, that's one opportunity to came to us, and we were really surprised, but we were also really proud of it
Right.
because we received an email that said, okay, we are from Roland Garros,
Mm.
and we have a project here for esports schools, and well, at the time we were about to have our second edition of our esports course,
Right.
online course. We already did some presential events, like speeches or some presential events that we have,
Sure.
and in at the online we had one in 2009, yeah, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
no, 2020, and then we are having one now, 2021,
Nice.
and it was a good time. And then there was Ruslan, say hi to him, send the stream, and he say like, oh, we have like the competition, which will run at the same time as Roland Garros, but in
Mm-hmm.
the esports scenario.
Right.
But they had like a qualifying stages in some countries,
Mm.
and they did with esports schools in each country, and there
Right.
was us as a representative in Brazil. There's some representative also in France, Italy, Spain, Germany, UK, some Belgium. I believe was that.
Right.
It was yeah. It was at the end. It was 8 players
Mm-hmm.
who were in Paris to play the finals, but we did a qualifying stage here.
Right.
And it was really good for us because it was the first tournament we kind of organized here, because it was a competition that we organized, of course, in connection with them, but it was kind of starting from zero, from the ground here.
Right.
Like, but then, of course, we organized with our students who were participating, was 16 at that time. And then but the main part of it, and it was really good for us, they said, okay, you have the opportunity, you can broadcast the matches, the qualifying matches,
right?
And of course have some material, and the champion would go to France.
Sure.
And I said okay, and I was talking to Juari, who did I believe an interview here also, and I said okay, we're gonna do like a television broadcast, like look like a television broadcast, but it will be on Twitch, on our channel,
right?
On Twitch. And because we have a commentator, we have kind of a host,
right?
We got a host, we got like everything, we got a lot of content for that, and it was really nice, because when we were planning, I was wondering, okay, but no one know the players because they were all our students.
Sure.
We had to have people knowing who are playing, and maybe support some students, because okay, I like his story,
right?
Because
right.
Of any reason. So they were kind of, we are trying to connect the players with the audience, and even if for a short time, I believe it was a great thing to do, because not like okay, there is one player playing against another, but I don't know who they are, so it's not maybe interesting. So we did a lot of content. We did this since the semifinals, because to prepare and to have some time for that. But it was really nice. And for example, Thiago Morteira, who was the winner, he told his story, his connection with tennis, and he was he used to play tennis when he was younger. And also with the games, like the esports scenario, he was not a pro player, but he liked to play some games either. So there was kind of we are building some characters for this tournament, because awesome. As like if you get to Roland Garros, you have like Rafael Nadal, who everyone know who he is. Or if you go to the esports scenario, there are some players pro players that the audience know who they are, and that brings more interest to the competition. It brings more interest to every part.
I think that's really smart, kind of like just creating that personal connection to people and to the audience, so they know like, okay, who are the participants here, and then they kind of like can follow them if they, obviously one of them qualified to the final, so that you kind of like, oh, that was the person I was cheering for or rooting for, and then you can kind of like support them in the final too. So I think that's a really smart approach. And I guess like, besides that, and as you were mentioning, you were having like some courses, within the esport industry, and I guess like, what career possibilities do you see, from the business side of it right now, and I guess like, how is the 360 helping to cater that?
Oh, perfect. Because it's a very good question, because when you say like career in the esports, everyone thinks about pro player. It's the first one, and looks like it's the only career possibility.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm working in sports. Is you're a pro player. Like, it's kind of automatic things that we do. But our work is to show that there are the opportunities here. There are a lot of possibilities that people can join. Like for example, there are a lot of leagues or competitions, like local competitions, but to organize them, you have to get some management knowledge. You get to be prepared of it. So like it's one thing that also it starts growing and people are looking after now. But
Right.
you can work with the players, like you can work with their image. We can work with in a psychological way with them.
Sure.
You can know there are a lot of opportunities for people who work close to them, even like in a physical trainment, um, nutritional, the
Right.
nutritional area. There is a lot of things that are surrounding, especially the players or the teams as well. Like social media, there is a lot of
Right.
opportunities, and also in these communications, there is a lot of it. Even if okay, I'm gonna be the financial director of a team,
Right.
a sports team. So uh, because the clubs, sport club, they're like an organization. They are their organization as well as Apple or Coca-Cola or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, change the size, of course, the market is different, but they have to work the same way as the big companies we used to know. And
Right.
so I believe the opportunities are there
Yeah.
because people are starting looking now the esports scenario as an industry, as the whole industry, not only like, okay, there's championships, there are,
Right.
okay, I can be a pro player. There will be always opportunities, of course, to be a player or to be
Yeah.
something related directly. But we always like to say the surrounding area, there is a lot of, especially in content. Now we see like this a lot,
Right.
improving a lot. But there's the thing I say, like if you were like, okay, I'm graduated in economics, so you can work in this industry. You just have to know where the opportunities for you, where they are, and how you can get in. And then we can, of course, we always can help these
Yeah.
people to get in either.
That's awesome. And I guess like looking into a little bit on the esport market and trends itself in Brazil, like that specifically because obviously you guys are working closely with that. And I guess like what are some of the key changes that you've seen has happened in the last few years and what kind of like specific opportunities have come out of it? Obviously you mentioned, content, social media and stuff like that, but what are some of the specific trends you've been seeing like in Brazil, in the esport market there?
Okay. Yeah, here the market starts growing kind of for years. I think like growing a lot, like
Yeah.
rocketing in around 4 years. So there is a lot to grow, and there is, I believe, a lot of stages that to pass. Of course, we are not in the perfect scenario to get like the orgs to be really professional as the companies I said,
Right.
but I believe that now the biggest opportunities are in the content area, as I said, like social media,
Right.
working with players, with image of players, not only social media, but
Editing
helping
videos probably as well. And
as well. Yeah, helping them to be like more sociable, like in the media, helping
right.
how to talk, how to behave
Mm-hmm.
in the media as well,
Right. Yeah.
and but video editing for sure. The opportunities are more in this area as we see,
Right.
because I believe this is the first stage, and then this I'm gonna say kind of the easiest one, or the more, because they're more close, so it's natural that they run more in this scenario.
Right.
But for sure there will be next stages, I believe, more in uh, management area, or maybe some different areas that will
Right.
go on through. Also, one area I believe is also growing the relationship with companies. It's because the companies are looking for esports in a very good way now
Yeah.
as an investment, as like, okay, I'm a company, I have to talk with the esports audience. That's it. They're young, they're
Right.
connected, so it's a very good opportunity in this area,
Right.
because the companies, they don't know, they want to connect with esports organizations or championships or whatever, but they don't know how to do it.
Right.
They don't have, maybe they don't have as much as information as necessary to
Right.
connect. So some opportunities in this area.
And I guess like that's a valid point too of like even if you're interested in working in esports directly, and as you were kind of touching upon, of course, like earlier, like saying like with organizations, or brands or products that are working with the teams, now you're looking in a way where, well, there's also, normal, or what are we going to call them, like the regular sports
Yeah.
organizations, right, that are looking into like how do I get involved in esports, right? So
Yeah.
by knowing the esport industry, you can sort of like be that, bridging the gap, between a normal sports organization and the esport industry. But
Yeah.
you're working for the, the ordinary sport organization, and hence, that's also creates more opportunities, in the
Sure.
space.
Yeah, it's a really good comments, because the one thing the esports organization, they realized, they learned with other sports, like
Right.
what they did right or what they should improve.
Hmm.
As esports is more recent
Right.
sports than the regular ones,
Yeah.
they kind of know, okay, I know that like a football works well in this area, but they're not so good at this other area. So
Right.
they kind of analyze that, and having a more uh, professional market since from beginning,
Hmm.
and that brings a lot of good things even for people who works in the esports area.
100%.
And the organization inside the the teams or inside the the championships, they uh how can I say, they run easily for it, because they know what to do more they more exactly what to do, what it's need they need to do, than maybe in some other regular sports,
Right.
which as esports are growing a lot,
Hmm.
the the regular sports, they're kind of like worry about the audience, like how do I get kids attention,
Right.
as they are always in the cell phone, they're always in the video games,
Sure.
because the basis of sports, you have to get the participants, as we say, the weekend
Hmm.
practice,
Yeah.
the weekend participants, they're not like professional, they're amateurs,
Hmm.
but they practice that sport every weekend or whatever
Right.
they have a time.
Yeah.
This basis is very important, and
For sure.
I believe esports has a very, very good basis now.
100%. And I guess like if we want to sort of like wrap up everything here, what we've been talking about, like obviously we touched about like courses, we touched about special projects and opportunities. But if you want to like, provide like some, key final tips for any student or sport professional out there looking to enter the esport industry, like what kind of
Sure.
tips would you give them?
Sure. Well, as we said, uh, know the knowledge about how the market runs,
Mm,
how thing works. It's very important. So research, read some news, even try to get in contact with
right.
people in
Yeah,
the esports market. Maybe it's important.
for
Even for
sure.
an interview, you can say you're interviewing for a course you're doing or whatever,
Right.
or just to get some information. It's
For
really
sure.
important. The networking, as we said, it's
Hmm.
really necessary,
Yeah.
because the opportunities come in conversations, they come in people who know you, and then who can indicate you for somewhere they know.
Right.
So it's really important. And as I said, be a proactive, be aware of what is going on. For sure, there will be esports event going on close to you. Maybe it can be a big event or a small event, but it's a way to be close to them, to know how they work, how they organize it. And usually the opportunities are there to be a volunteer and to get an internship or whatever. It's
for sure.
It's a very good way to start.
Yeah.
And I believe that's it. And also look for opportunities that maybe goes on in regular sports or in industries outside the sports, but you can bring in to the esports scenario.
Right.
Usually it works. So it's a very, very good way, because you have a good example. We have to where to look for it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't exist in the sports scenario, maybe it's possible to have.
Absolutely. You gotta explore your options, and I think that's a perfect way, to end this podcast with Lucas. I think it's some really great advice, some really great insights about what you guys are doing, your journey, of course, and a lot of opportunities are in the esports industry these days. It's just taking the initiative, being proactive and start embarking your journey essentially in the sport industry and the esport industry, of course. And with that, of course, Lucas, I would like to thank you so much, for taking the time, for sharing your story with us. And I don't know if you've seen some of our other episodes, but we have sort of like a way we always end our podcast with. So I have to teach you some Norwegian at the end.
Oh, that's good.
All right, cool. So with every video we do, we always finish with "Vi snakkes," which means "see you later" in Norwegian. So that's what you gotta learn.
What's the word again? So just it's a bit.
Vi snakkes.
Vi snakkes.
There you go. Nice job.
Perfect. Perfect. And thank you very much, Ole, for the opportunity to talk to you here.
Thank you, Lucas. We'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.